Hey guys, so Once Upon a Time was on last night and they continue to break our hearts. It wasn't as bad as the last episode because, as you guys know, Hook was sent away by Gideon when he chose to go back to Emma, and Emma has no idea that Hook is in trouble right now and that he's trying to get back to her. So we pick up in this episode where she thinks he's just left and she's really upset about it. And I'm gonna make a point here. This really kind of annoyed me because they've been through so much, and for her to not know or have a feeling that he's in trouble while Gideon is around, that bothers me because she just wants to assume he's left. And it makes me wonder if that's just, if like she's just done fighting at the moment. Because she went to the underworld for him and she feels like she did so much to save their relationship, and just for that to end that way, she's just at a moment where she doesn't want to bother fighting anymore. So I don't know if that's the case, but that's just kind of what I want to get out of it because there's no explanation why she wouldn't assume that he's in trouble. So yeah, that's just my ranting there. So we pick up where Emma's upset and David is trying to... He's actually coping with the fact that he's learned that Hook killed his father. Because Emma told him. And David's clearly upset, but he doesn't hold too much of a grudge in the episode, which is actually interesting. He's more concerned that Emma is upset that Hook has left. So it's nice that he's being more of a father in that moment instead of just hanging on to the fact that her boyfriend killed his father. It's a nice father-daughter moment. So, meanwhile, while she's dealing with that, Hook is stuck in the submarine with Captain Nemo and the crew, and they are whisked away to the enchanted forest. Sorry, I was going to say that wrong. Because Gideon set up some kind of portal or something. So now Hook needs to find a way back, and the way that they're able to travel from world to world is through Kraken's blood. So Hook has planned to go find a Kraken. And meanwhile, we see Aladdin and Jasmine. They've actually ended up in the Enchanted Forest looking for Agrabah because that was Jasmine's wish before the winter hiatus happened. It was basically where Jasmine got to keep the lamp and Aladdin became her genie. So that was her first wish, to find Agrabah. And so they haven't found anything. And Jasmine notices a ring drop on the ground, and Aladdin points out that it was in her pocket. And at that moment, I'm kind of thinking that has something to do with Agrabah. Maybe it's trapped in there, you know? But that kind of gets derailed when she realizes something else, and we actually see a flashback where it's almost a take on the whole suitor thing from the movie, where Jasmine's father wants to marry her off to a prince, but in this case we learn it's because he wants an army to be ready for Jafar, because this is after he's betrayed them, and the events are a bit different from the film, but this is really well written in how they did things in this episode. So, yeah, they're looking for a suitor, and Jafar makes an appearance, and he turns one of the princes into a staff with the head on top, which is really disturbing, especially when I realized what he did to him. It almost reminded me of shrunken heads on poles, which was... Ugh, that's creepy. So Jafar is basically warning them, and he wants to take Jasmine's hand in marriage, and it's supposedly so she'll save her city. He won't destroy her city if she marries him. So Jasmine has to deal with that. She realizes that she needs to find an army and protect her city from Jafar. She doesn't want to marry him. She wants to fight. So eventually she meets Ariel, who actually was just... She was there because she was looking for Eric. She was there because she was looking for Eric. And we learn that this is like after the event of where she met Prince Eric and she hasn't seen him since. So this is like before all the stuff that we got to in season 3. So she's looking for him, and Jasmine realizes that finding Prince Eric will be good for her too because he has a navy, and that will help them fight Jafar. So they take the magic carpet, which I was so happy to see that. They take that to a camp where they believe Eric is, and they find him in one of the tents. And Ariel runs up to Eric, and she tells him that she's a mermaid because he didn't know that before. And it's a nice reunion, but I'm wondering if there's something that's going to happen. So, like, Eric makes a point that he loves Ariel, that he accepts her for who she is, only because his people like to eat her kind. And at that moment, you know something's fishy. Haha, pun. So, at that moment, Eric turns into Jafar, and I had a feeling something was going to happen there. So, yeah, he's tricked them into thinking that there was this chance that Jasmine was going to find something to stop him, but again, he was ahead of the game. So Jasmine has to make the decision to marry him or let her city be destroyed. And Ariel thinks that she and Jasmine can take him on, but Jafar makes her disappear back into the waters, and Jasmine decides she'll marry him if it means saving her city. Unfortunately, when she hands him the ring, which is the ring we saw in the present, that spells doom for Agrabah because he needed that ring to trap the city, basically. Because there was like a magical barrier around Agrabah, and the ring allows whoever holds it to either keep the magical border going or take it away. Sorry, I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. So, yeah, her city's gone, and she was tricked. Either way it was going to go, he was going to trick her. So that's what she's dealing with in the present. She feels she's really let her people down, and she doesn't know how she's going to find Agrabah or do anything. So we get to the point where Aladdin and Jasmine are on a boat trying to find a way, just trying to continuously find the city, and they're attacked by the Kraken, and this is where Hook comes in. They save them from the Kraken, and they bring them on board the submarine, and they're all trying to figure out how they're going to get back to their cities, their homes, and the Kraken has done damage to the submarine, so that's about to fail. So Jasmine uses a wish from the lamp to get them off the submarine and onto an island nearby. And that is basically where Captain Nemo and his crew part, and I don't know if we're going to see them again, but it was a decent send-off anyway. So they're on an island called Hangman's Island, and they find a house of some kind where there's all these things, and it's like a museum. And we learn that Ariel's been hiding there. It's, I guess it's a home that she and Eric made, so it's nice they at least found each other again. But anyway, she's by herself, and she actually has a lamp that she believes could lead to Jafar, because that is now who they're trying to find, because they think facing him they'll be able to bring back Agrabah. So they let him out of the lamp, and we actually don't know how he became a genie in this situation, but he can actually choose either to be a genie to somebody or not be a genie. He just releases the shackles like it's nothing. So that's kind of interesting how he can do that. So now Jasmine has to face her biggest fear, which is Jafar. And that's not going to be easy for her. So yeah, everybody's put to sleep, and Jasmine has to face her fears, and she feels stronger now that she has had support and advice. So she tells Jafar to show her where Agrabah is, and this is where he points out that it's in the ring. That is where it is trapped. So she knows that she can save her city now, but now she has to defeat Jafar, and she uses the same magic that he used on the prince in the earlier scene, and she turns him into a staff. So that also was kind of creepy, but it defeated him, so that's good at least. So she's defeated and conquered her fears, so now she knows what to do. She kisses Aladdin, because that is what we realize, that they actually have true love, which is nice. And that is what releases Agrabah, and it also releases Aladdin from his genie shackles, which we assumed was going to be a wish, but it was true love's kiss that broke that curse as well, which is nice. So now back to Hook. His story kind of got derailed a little bit here, but he and Ariel are talking about how to get back to Storybrooke, and she remembers that she has a shell phone, and Hook actually has one back at home. So he's trying to call Emma, who throughout the episode was having a ladies' night with Regina and Snow. And I will say, drunk Snow, where have you been? That scene was really funny. Never seen her drunk before, so now we know what she's like. So yeah, she's been dealing with that, and at one point she was opening up to a bartender, and she actually started to cry, and she released her emotions. So Hook has finally found a way to communicate, and Emma actually receives the call, but she can't talk to him. She can only hear him. So she's happy to hear him, and now she knows that he didn't purposefully leave. It was all Gideon. And at that moment, Gideon shows up in the form of the bartender, who now has the napkin where she dried her tears, and the tears of a savior give him control. So he makes a proposition to Emma. Instead of killing Emma and stealing her powers, he's now going to force her to help him defeat the Black Fairy. And that is where the episode leaves. Emma is willing to do this, so anything to get Hook back, basically, at this point. Yeah, so that's where we were left, and we're going to see how that ends up in the next episode. I like that Gideon's actually not planning to kill her anymore. At least that's what we think. I'm not positive where that's going to lead, but maybe he actually does want to just form an alliance with her. Anything to defeat the Black Fairy, so not sure. Things can go either way on the show. But I'm glad Emma at least heard Hook. She knows that he didn't leave the way she thought he left. Because that was really kind of getting annoying to me. They have true love, and for her to just assume that he just left, And yeah, he was kind of planning to, but only because he was disappointed in himself. He felt he didn't deserve happiness. But he was gonna come back. So it's just, true love is frustrating. And I really liked what they did with Aladdin and Jasmine. They made Jasmine a much more, they made her a stronger character basically, and it was almost more her story than Aladdin's, which that's kind of interesting since the movie was called Aladdin and it was more about him. So I kind of like how they turned that around a little bit and made it more of a fight between her and Jafar. Really gave her character strength, and it's just a nice twist there. And I'm happy that they brought Ariel back. I'm not sure if she's gonna be in another episode or not, but she was at least there to help, so I'm happy they brought her on. And yeah, that is basically all that happened. And we're gonna see where this goes, and somehow we're gonna end up with a wedding near the end of the season. Fingers crossed. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will talk to you later. Bye!